Perfect. So that's good. I had debated on this one, and so first I'm gonna mention who I am. So I'm David Klaus. I'm a coach at Target, but I've worked everywhere under the sun. I've worked in video games, medical devices, third party logistics. I made stamps, like rubber stamps, for a while. I've done kind of everything there is, and the reason I like sharing these with people is my passion first and foremost is games. Um, and so when I share a game here, I usually try to share a game that isn't necessarily designed to teach you agile or agile thinking, but that the lessons you learn from it can be applied to agile teams and you could adapt it to an agile team. And so I kind of gone back and forth with Gartic Phone here on whether I was going to make it very, very agile focused to start, or if we were just going to play it normally and then discuss how we could apply this to an agile team. And that's where I'm going to go with. We're just going to play this normally. Hey, Niels, I'm sending the link in the chat. If you click on it, you don't have to go to Discord. It'll open up in your browser. You'll have to watch one little like 30-second ad and then we can play for free. So it works great. But yes, once we finish the game, we're going to talk about like how what lessons you might see in this that would apply to an agile team. And I have used this with friends that work on agile teams and discussed this before. I've never used it with my actual agile team because I just started playing it like a month and a half, 2 months ago. So it's new to me too. I did play it with Dan at the office as a test run already, and we had a lot of fun. So once you click on that link and everyone's in, the way the game works is everyone's going to be told, write a sentence, and you're going to write a sentence. And what you'll have to do after that is that sentence will be shuffled to someone in here to use their mouse to draw it. Then that drawing will be shuffled to someone else to say, describe this drawing. And it'll do that for a couple rounds. And at the end, it'll show you the whole train of how things went. So what was the start and what was the end result that we got from here. So we will get going right now. Anyone have questions before we join or before we go? It's pretty simple. So it'll all be right in your browser. Oh, I got to share my screen here. You do not have to watch my screen, but this is for the recording. So I'm going to pause my screen share while I type this so nobody knows what I typed.
And your time is ticking down up in the top right. So it's
yep.
25% remaining.
Thank you. All right. Actually, I should stop my share probably and just share the end result because I think that's going to ruin it for the people on that watch the video. All right, so draw this. You can use the pencil. There's all the paint tools on the right, colors on the left, and you just roll along.
Time is almost out.
Yes. We are in the yellow, which means there's only a couple more seconds left.
Control Z does work, by the way.
Thank you. It absolutely does. All right. Now describe the scene that you see in front of you.
Half of the time remains.
And if you do finish early, you can just click the done and it'll advance time faster, but no rush. What I love about games like this is that they give you just enough time to get yourself into trouble. If you finish early, you think you can add more. And if you start with grand aspirations, you end up rushing the last like 10 seconds of it. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh. So you can see also in the upper left, it tells you the number of rounds we're in. So we're in 5 of 7. So we have one more draw and one more description to go. Time is down to less than a quarter of the time bar left. I love that that reference to the clock ring or the phone ringing is going to be dead in like 10 years. No one's going to know what that sound was. All right. So for the recording, I am going to share my screen here. You might get double audio on your end, but this is where the fun part of the game is, which is it shows everyone who got these prompts. So everyone wrote a sentence, had to draw it, and it was shopped around, and we did it and did it and did it until we got to the end. Now it's going to show them all each in a storyline of what happened from beginning to end. Yes, prepare to laugh. If you do, if you do worry about laughing and you're self-conscious about it, you can put yourself on mute. But the game is, this is where it's fun, and we'll see what happens. So for those on that are watching on the video after this, I apologize you didn't get to see all the drawing and all the sentence writing, but here were the results.
Cat at the Kentucky Derby.
It's a pretty good drawing.
A.
A.
Didn't get my sentence merged.
Outstanding capital A.
Ooh. Dan with all the serifs.
Artistic A.
I like it though. So you could see how it was mostly A. That one we kept that afterwards after a slight miscommunication in the middle. But we got something cool after that. All right, let's see the next one.
Temperature roller coasters are fun.
Riding on a roller coaster on a sunny day.
Good job on the roller coaster though.
The pink people emerge from the toes of the giant foot. We have discovered Bigfoot.
All right, so temperature roller coasters are fun to discovering Bigfoot. Nailed it. That's what we do.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Oh. Wow.
Old Man River is a great song.
A family singing and swimming in a river.
Lars go tubing in the dells with the kids.
Ooh, I like that one. So pretty good. Actually, this one stayed good. I totally messed up in the middle of this. I lost the sound of music. But this is great. All right, let's see the next.
Nobody picked David for their team.
Of course, I got this one too, Dan.
Coaching is like herding kids on sugar.
Captain tells people how to row the boat.
All of this still checks out.
Row your boat.
Ooh, we got roll the boat though. Nice. Good work. Good artistic skills. All right.
Children love pancakes.
Oh, I see where this is going.
We love campfire.
That's a really good fire.
Love bombing around a campfire.
Roasting 4 hearts.
Pretty good though. There was some context shared along it.
I went fishing at the lake.
The boat is pulled by the pooping fish.
That's a really good drawing.
I was
Fishing
trying
by
hard to
boat.
stay true to the pooping fish part. Fishing girls.
A man throwing up while fishing.
So we got the fish going. We kept that. That's good. Last one.
Duck says quack.
Oh, that's a really good duck.
The duck is quacking.
If it quacks like a duck.
Why does that duck look mad somehow? I
The
love
duck
it.
has stories to share.
Very good. All right. So that's the game. That's really all it is. What I love about this game is most people have played the traditional telephone game where it talks about how context is lost the further you go along the chain and what you share. When we look at these, if we would have all had that same starting sentence, our drawing still would have looked slightly differently, but we would have probably had them be a lot closer than, for example, I can't go back. Here we go. Something like this, right? Children love pancakes, all the way to a campfire with giant hearts all over it. So the importance here is it shows how valuable it is to have people in the same room. And so one of the ways that I've discussed utilizing this is on teams, think about if you were to take a feature or a outcome you wanted from your product and give it to a UX designer and say, hey, can you just mock this up for us? But you lose the context of what the original feature or goal was and just hand it to somebody to build. What ends up happening is they might build exactly what you put in front of them with this picture. And if they interpret people wanting pancakes to I want a campfire, it's a totally different outcome for that user and those people. So the value here is to show that if you give that same text at the beginning, you probably get a lot of people all drawing pancakes in a different way where you could see the differences, but say, oh, I think the whole set of these drawings is probably has something to do with pancakes. That's cool. So it's a new play on the old game of telephone with drawing in the middle and some really fun things along the way. Are there any other ways y'all could see this utilized on teams to showcase the value of communication and conversation?
I think there's also a I don't know, byproduct of this game is the example of there's always going to be someone on the team that will turn it into whatever they want given an inch. But when we are talking about, requirements and features and things, there might be someone on teams that looks at it and goes, well, this is open for interpretation. And rather than seeking clarity, especially if they don't have the opportunity to seek clarity, they'll just go, oh yeah, I can do this like the way I always do this thing, or the way that I want to do this thing, to horrifying results like roasting hearts.
Absolutely. Anyone else see something that they're like, I could totally see where this would apply to a team, and not more than just being fun. So for me, the most important thing with a game is that it's fun first, and then the discussion of the learning comes after. And so while this is just generally a good team building exercise, do you see any other parallels to teams and Agile as how it would apply to them?
Well, I feel like this has sort of been said, but I want to go a little bit different angle on it. So much like interpretation of requirements can really get lost if we're handing that to the UX designer. I think it also highlights just how different our perspectives could be, and that everyone has is constantly making judgments and making assessments and creating their own reality. And so irrespective of what that means to work, I think just how we show up as humans together, we've all got a completely different lens. And I think this really brings that into highlight, because especially if a team is having some conflict or some sort of interpersonal disagreement, it can all come back to we've just got a completely different lens and a different perspective.
I love that. Marissa, I saw you come off mute. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, I feel like it's repetitive already what Dan
Please.
and Bill
That's
have
fine.
said, but it's just like with some of the teams that I work with right now, I think it's part of the environment that we're in, but people are really afraid to ask questions. So they'll gladly take things that are given to them, but they're afraid to ask questions about what it is that they're doing, and they just do stuff. And then we catch ourselves later that it wasn't done the way it was anticipated. So we're doing a lot of rework. And I think something like this would be helpful for the team to just think about asking questions so that they aren't doing that rework afterwards because they didn't do what was expected. So it just goes along the same lines with the communication. But like I said, part of it's environmental where people are kind of just scared. So that's a different aspect too. But
I love that. I think the other piece to this that I like to highlight is imagine this as the loop of how long you go before you get feedback on something. Now, if you got feedback here and allowed people to ask questions, you're going to be much clearer on your next one and the next one. And suddenly you don't have Bigfoot as the interpretation, but you have a roller coaster as that original interpretation. I also think there's something here for the idea that some team members are higher context with each other than others. So Dan and I worked together. I knew right away before we even saw or talked about it. Where's Dan's? There you are. I got to get to you. Next. When I saw this, I was like, Dan wrote this. It didn't tell me. I got it first. I knew Dan wrote that from this. And I could tell you which drawings were Dan's as we were going. But if you're new on a team, there's a lot of things that are built in and unsaid. You might not know how people already talk and think, some of our shared inside knowledge on teams, those type of things. This has that built in. When you play it with your group of friends at home with none of the Agile discussion on there are inside jokes that come out. There are things that only you should know, probably. That still happens on teams too, after you've been on them for a long time. And so how intimidating that could be for someone who goes, oh, I have to look through the list of people. Who's David? Are we talking about David Klaus? Like, if I wouldn't have got this, would people have known who David was? Was it me? Was it some other David? I don't know which David that is. So lots of opportunities to glean stuff from this game. Anyone else have thoughts? So the game is meant to be quick hitter, fun. I'm going to give us an option here because we're only halfway through. Does everyone want to play one more round just for fun? Or do people have stuff they got to run to on this?
I can do one more round if it's quick.
All right. Cool with one more round? Deb, you good with one more round too? Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go to home.
hey, Jeff.
We'll have to get you a new link. Thanks, Chef. Get you a new link. And there are other games that are built into Gartic Phone here. So they do have all these different games that you can play. I send you your link. Boom. These are also pretty fun. I actually particularly enjoy the sandwich one. So you start writing and keep drawing all the way to the end. So it's a lot faster, but more complicated. So I'm going to stick with the original Gartic Phone, but I would encourage you to explore these if on your own, if you're like, this is fun and it's put together really nicely. There's an incredibly low barrier to entry for all of these games, which makes them extremely approachable for teams to do on a quick afternoon. We did it at the office I said to a table of people that were all working, hey, can y'all help me with a game that I'm testing? And that was it. So
We weren't really working, so.
Oh, we were working hard, Dan. That's what we do.
The productivity was at an all-time high.
All right, just waiting on one more and then we can get started. Perfect. All righty.
I think this is better with an even number of people because it ends then on a picture.
On a
It's
drawing.
the final uh, realization or creativity piece.
It's the grand reveal. Oh my God. So I need to get better at drawing also. It just makes me realize I need to be a better artist.
I'm really embracing the shape tools to make up for my lack of ability, and that's helped tremendously.
I have no idea how I'm supposed to draw this. Yikes. Good enough, I guess. That's terrifying. Sometimes the paint bucket fill tool makes up for some horrifying results, and I need to get rid of it.
Is there a way to, like, if you do use the shape tool and you draw a circle, is there a way to select it and move it? I must be missing it if there is.
I don't believe so. So part of this is intentionally clunky so that people can't
Sure.
draw too well.
Sure.
I've played games like this with my actual art team at the game company, and they took it way too seriously. And not being able to erase on the original version was the best thing for them ever because they would just be irritated the whole time.
Sure. I can see that.
Oh, Not what I wanted. Sitting here like, do I not know how to make closed shapes? Like, what's wrong with me? Ugh.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a masterpiece. I'm happy
I'm
with
proud of this one. I feel like I'm finally getting good.
I feel like I've gotten worse, which makes the game better. I'm sorry, whoever gets my description.
I feel like Niels is getting all of my sentences, and I'm so happy.
It's such a batch of random. I'm like, what?
Oh, let's just say I'm much more creative in the morning, apparently, or just unhinged.
Dan, you're always
No.
unhinged.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
I really need to know where some of these started, like desperately. The other thing this impresses on people is the importance of being clear and simple in your description of items. The longer you make a sentence, the more room for interpretation you leave, just like a backlog item. If you're not just succinct with it and clear, it's going to turn out a lot crazier.
Good luck, whoever gets that masterpiece.
Well, we're done after this, so that'll be the
Oh.
Yours is the final representation.
correct. It's going to
Yours is
be
the shippable product.
Nailed it.
Oh boy.
All right, screen share is happening so that everybody can see it. That's going to be on the video. Same thing. The voiceover has to be checked, by the way, if you do this, because if you don't have them voicing it over, it's not nearly as awesome.
You can, but for folks on the call, you can turn off your own if you want to listen through David's as well, screen share.
Correct. You can mute your tab or whatever. I don't know if I have sharing sound, but whatever. All right.
The Gantt chart is alive. Power lines are very happy.
Oh,
That's very cool.
Although bald, the trees still felt connected, and thus joy.
And Dan is a mad scientist. This is good though. All right, so from Gantt charts to a person tree. Nailed
we
it.
really returned back to nature.
Swimming with the turtles.
That's pretty good.
Swimming with turtles.
Hey, look at that.
Whoa, look at that.
Whoa.
I put a little tiny Easter egg in that one though.
Turtle checking out my awesome swim trunks while flying.
Very
I
good.
see you, Niels. I see you.
Bear plays with porcupine, eating donuts.
Oh my God, now I know where it came from.
Oh, okay.
Teddy brings donuts, but Hedgehog has no time for such things.
Holy cow, Dan, it's scary how much we think alike. Look at my description.
DJ Fozzie Bear was late to Sonic's wedding.
Oh, that's creepy. We need to stop hanging out.
I'm fine with that.
Pineapple on pizza is awesome.
Okay. Holy cow,
Oh.
and pineapple. Oh, that's how you
Nice.
draw a pineapple.
Yeah.
Smiling hot pineapple plate smells.
I'm finding out, Niels, we need to hang out more.
Apple in the sun.
I'm glad you got smiling pineapple out of that, Deb. I'm very proud. Very good.
Oh boy.
Taco cat dinosaur eating a bucket of wings.
Let's try to write B-dubs on the
Taco
bucket.
cat eating trash.
Same.
Cat experiences hairball while eating.
Deb, I'm sorry you got so many of my drawings. What a disaster for you.
What I love about that is that started
my
so weird and
descriptions.
it got so normal towards the end. It like
Yeah, it became more hinged. Is that a word? Can you become more hinged instead of unhinged? Oh. All right, Niels, what do we got?
Baby says alligator
Oh, I
at
had
the
to draw
park.
this one.
Oh, sorry. Nicely done.
Baby dreaming of alligators.
We got the alligators.
Sleeping in a jail cell and having nightmares of alligators.
I felt like I really did that one well.
That is a perfect
Nailed
way
it.
to end it. That is a really good capstone version of this. So I hope everyone had fun. Again, my core value is that the fun is first. So hopefully you all had fun. And if you're looking for a game to play with your team or your friends, it's free and it's fun. So that's all I got. If anyone has questions or thoughts, I'm happy to share them. I'm crying because I'm laughing so hard. I cry instantly when I laugh. So does anybody have any thoughts or questions before we pack her up?
Well, I got a good ab workout on that one, so.
Do you guys have any idea how many players max can be?
14.
14.
14. Okay.
Yeah. It is a big game when you and you got to remember it takes extra time for every person you add, but still
Sure.
fun.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Great.
See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Well.
Thanks,
Yep.
everyone. We'll see you.
Bye.